Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. The readings are totally free. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got a Six of Wands. This is a win. I feel like you've been involved in a struggle for a long time. This is the card of victory. Finally, right? I feel like this is a win that is really teaching you a lot about who you are and what you're capable of. And I think that is one of the best benefits of any kind of a victory, is the feeling like, wow, like I did it, I accomplished something. That I fought for something, I struggled for it, I suffered for it, and it worked. And here I am on the other side of it, and I feel like it's going to be all smiles from here on out, you know? Don't quote me on that, because we still got a lot of cards, right? But this is a really good start. That's awesome, because this is victory after the Five of Wands, victory after struggle, okay? And it may be a team effort, okay, but I feel like this is something that is really boosting your confidence now. And I wonder what your life's going to be like after this. But here we have a Knight of Cups. Here we have the High Priestess. Yeah, look at that, Seven of Pentacles. This was the darkness. This was the darkness before the dawn, right? This was the struggle. This was the failure, and this is the victory. Okay, so it feels like it's been a long time coming. We have a Knight of Wands. We have, look at that. This is real confidence. This is passion. This is capability. This is a bit of an ego boost for sure, right? We kind of started with this Jupiter and Leo energy. Then we got the full-on Leo power card with the lust or strength card. I feel like from this point forward, you're going to feel unstoppable. Unstoppable. It's almost a feeling of being invincible. You need to keep that in check a little bit. Here we have a Seven of Cups. We have the Magician. We have the Two of Swords. Very good. And finally, that Devil energy. Yeah, your life flips today. We're flipping from being like the failure kind of swamp kind of energy over here, where we just feel like things are not going right. I'm melancholy. I'm pessimistic. It's just, I'm getting down in the dumps. I feel like I'm sinking deeper into the swamp. We're going from this to this. That's a major flip. This is like a 180, right? I feel like it's going to be all smiles. It's going to be all fire and light and love and passion. It's a long way from this, right? I think this is kind of how we're feeling now because of some of the troubles that we've had, the obstacles, the bumps in the road that we've been experiencing. We're getting the victory. We're getting the big win, okay? This is good. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with our little sea turtle friend right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Spirit's referencing a person that, like, I guess, smoked in your house when you were a kid. Something like, or you're from that generation where like our parents kind of smoked in the house, you know? That sort of image is coming through, okay? I feel like you had very overprotective parents or very anxious parents, and even though like maybe one or the other, both of them smoked in the house, but yet they were still very overprotective of you. Anyway, though, if you have a prediction for this mystery card, please put it in the comments. Let's use our intuition, because that's something that Spirit really needs you to do right now. We got this High Priestess under the surface. This is your internal guide, that spiritual guide inside of you. It is your intuition. And we need this to come forward and be front and center. We need to involve this more in our life. because this is between the high priestess and the magician, inside, outside. Okay? Kind of feels as if it is your spirit and soul that are sort of creating reality. But it's almost like these magical things are happening to you, and you're trying to find the external cause, like saying, like where'd that come from? Who did that? You did it, right? You did it. And that's something that Spirit needs you to realize right now, is that this is your win, right? We don't need to project that magic outward and say someone out there, like this is somebody else is doing. But as we look around the room and we see the Knight of Cups, it's important that you give credit where credit is due. It's important that you have this gratitude and appreciation for the people around you. You're going to be a gracious winner. And you're going to say, oh, I couldn't have done it without my team. And, this isn't me. This is a group effort. There's no I in team, right? So I feel like you are a very gracious and grateful and appreciative and generous person. I feel like you're very expressive of that. I feel like you like to tell people you love them. I feel like that's you tell everybody that, right? Your friends, your family, every time you leave, say, I love you. I think that's so awesome. At the same time, Spirit wants you to recognize that you got here, you were led by your own spiritual essence. We don't have to attribute the win to something outside of ourselves here, okay? It's no one did this for you. There was no one pulled a rabbit out of a hat for you. It was you. Still have this team kind of group dynamic and have that gratitude and appreciation, okay? We got to keep our head on our shoulders here. We don't want to let our ego get so inflated that it sort of flies away, It's a very good problem to have, because this must be a very, very big win for you if Spirit is kind of saying, like, take the credit, but also, be a generous winner, be a gracious winner, okay? And also don't feel as if we are literally invincible going forward. You're going to have this pride and this capability and this courage and this strength for whatever is coming next in your life. You're going into the next battle with a smile, At the same time, be humble and be gracious and grateful, okay? So it's that sort of the union of opposites there. We have some good majors in the reading, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've got our fire, we've got our water, we've got our air, we've got our earth. Okay, so we can start, let's start with the 7 of Pentacles. Let's get this thing out of the way. These are the speed bumps, the roadblocks, the barricades, the potholes of life. The ups and downs, the twists and turns. These are all the times that you've been thrown down on the mat in jiu-jitsu class. The 6 of Wands is you finally getting the win, right? Finally, not getting thrown down. Like you've been thrown down a million times, but each time you got thrown down, you've learned something. You got your magician. You are the adaptable one. You are the magician in this situation, even though you might be of that nature where we're sort of looking for somebody else must have done it for me, or there must have been some sort of outside cause for the win. Instead of believing that you're capable of it, we sort of try to attribute it to something outside of ourselves. Nonetheless, failing at something so many times and then finally getting it right, finally doing it, finally getting the win. It's like you've been throwing the darts all night and finally you get the bullseye. You've been swinging the bat, all season. Finally you succeed and you hit the ball out of the park. And you win the final championship game when you're down to 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th and you're behind by 4 or whatever, right? Or 3, I guess, and then you get the winning run. You hit the grand slam after a long time of feeling like you haven't really been getting it, right? But you have, because there's something underneath the surface in you that every time you've been thrown down on the mat, your instinct and your intuition has grown a little bit. Something in you has changed. Okay? Change is not always something that we have to consciously experience outwardly. That we're not, and that's part of the magician in the environment here, in the position that it's in. the magician in the position, feels like any kind of growth or change or adaptation is always something that we can consciously identify and something that we intentionally pursue on the surface. I think you've been doing that as well. But I also feel as if there is something inside of you that has been growing and changing, like beneath the threshold of our awareness. You know, you've been evolving spiritually and dynamically and, even neurologically, right? I mean, I think you've been making more connections, and the sort of neuroplasticity, right, has been taking place in all of these little f failures. Now, the problem with the little f failures is that we experience them enough, and we don't feel as if we are really living up to our expectations in the external world. That I feel like you've been saying to yourself, like, I just don't get it. I don't know why, but I just can't seem to win here. I can't seem to get the victory, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Eventually that takes its toll on us, and we get into the Seven of Cups kind of vibe. We're sinking deeper into it. We start thinking negatively about ourselves. We start feeling bad about ourselves. We start identifying with the failures. And instead of this being a little f failure, this is a big F, I'm a failure, right? That's what these two cards, 7 and 7, right? Used to be my favorite drink, not so much anymore, right? Now this is a toxic combination, okay? It's okay to fail at things. In fact, the obstacle is the way. Every path we're on, every road worth traveling is going to have some speed bumps. There's never smooth sailing, right? And if there is, it just means we're not really doing anything significant. So you've been working on something that's really challenging, and so you're going to fall down quite often, probably. But the problem is when we start to identify as the failure, that there's something wrong with me, that I'm not getting it, I'm not capable of doing this, that somehow I can't figure this out. I'm not smart enough, maybe we're comparing ourselves to somebody outside, right, with our magician in the environment here. Maybe we're comparing ourselves to somebody that feels to us, the way we're looking at them, gosh, they just do it so well. Like how is it that they can do this flawlessly, but here I am like tripping over my own feet, you know? And so we're looking at other people or someone else maybe in particular, and we're thinking, gosh, they've got the grace. They've got the something that I don't have, you know? And that creates a little bit of kind of an envy. But really what it does is it puts us deeper into the swamp, makes us feel worse about ourselves. Okay? Sometimes a little bit of envy is good. We see somebody else as a master at jiu-jitsu, and we think, I want to be like that. I could do that. If they can do it, why not me? But the Seven of Cups is kind of saying, why me? Why can't I do it? You know, what's wrong with me that I can't be the master like that magician card? And so it really is it has a lot to do with the way we talk to ourselves, right? So we got the Two of Swords in the position of the difficulty, and this is kind of like we can either talk to ourselves with love and empowering words, or we can talk ourselves deeper into the swamp, okay? So the intuition, or the high priestess here, is that intuitive part of you, that spiritual essence, the spiritual light that's inside of you, trying to guide you to your best life, trying to guide you up the mountain. So there's something in your life that's been sort of pushing you on this path. Because if you really felt the Seven of Cups, you really felt like the failure, and you got the Seven of Pentacles, you probably would have walked away long ago. Certainly would have walked away by now. Right? But you didn't. So there's something that's holding you to this path. There's something that is urging you to continue on, even when in your heart and mind you're starting to feel like, I'm just terrible at this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't seem to figure it out, blah, 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 right? Because sometimes the high priestess is going to grab you by the collar and drag you through the mud and say, you're going, right? Because this is your destiny. This is who you are, dragging you up the mountain that we see there. That's your destiny. Your destiny is to be the GOAT, right? Your destiny is to be the greatest of all time at something. Your destiny is to get to the top of the mountain. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but hey, it's my show. I can do that. This is that that fierceness, that ferocious energy. This is the engine of the car. And the winds are the fuel for the car. Your gratitude is sort of the transmission, right? And then this, of course, is the energy. This is the internal combustion in that engine. And these two together, oh, there's no stopping you. There's nothing preventing you from getting up to the top of that mountain except for you. And, you know, and that we're already seeing how that is going to be overcome, right? Once we recognize the energies that are here, I think it really empowers us. I think the Six of Wands is that ego boost that we need. This is something that, as many times as you may have, I feel like there's a stack of Seven of Pentacle cards here. Like, I just feel like this is a stack like 4 inches high, you know? That it's just piled up with sevens. Despite all of those sevens, you're getting the win because you have not given up. You're someone with heart. If you know that cliche, oh, that person's got heart. You're the person with heart, okay? And there's something that's been compelling you to do this. And pushing you. And maybe it is in some way the competition with whoever the magician might be that you're sort of looking at and thinking, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Maybe that's motivating us. But until you actually do it, until once you get the win, then you realize that, okay, I now can acknowledge and recognize my own capabilities. Because at first it might just be like, well, if they can do it, then gosh darn it, I'm going to do it, right? And once we start doing it, we don't care about comparing ourselves to anybody else because now we're in the same realm as those other people. But now, because now we're there and we're doing it too. Something clicks. Yeah, something's clicking for you. The Knight of Wands at the top here, this is a fiery energy. It's an Aries energy. And this is the speed and enthusiasm with which you get back up again. So as many times as you fall down, you're springing back to your feet and you're jumping back in there and doing it again. That's the tenacity. That's the heart. That's the eagerness. Yeah. Something is pushing you and compelling you and motivating you to keep going. And whatever that thing is, give it some love. You know, appreciate it and acknowledge it, recognize it. Until that win happens, and then we don't need that anymore. You know what I mean? We don't need to, I don't know, it's kind of the way someone might put the face of their competitor on the dartboard, and every time they're throwing the darts, they're getting themselves fired up, you know, until we succeed at the thing, and then we can dispense with all the tools that we needed to keep ourselves motivated. Like maybe a little bit of jealousy is good. Until we start doing the thing and we feel like we've made the progress and we've had the win, we've had the victory, and then we don't need that sort of thing to motivate us anymore. Okay. Moving forward for you is this capability. This is somebody who does the thing. This is somebody with full confidence. This is somebody that's like walking into the ring, like knowing that they know their stuff. But we don't want to be arrogant. We don't want to let our ego inflate so much that it sort of gets lost in the clouds, right? Got to keep our head on our shoulders. But we can and should walk into the future with confidence because you've earned it. This isn't coming before, right? Pride comes before the fall. No, now pride's coming after the fall and then after the resurrection. That's when the pride is coming for you, see? So you have earned the right to feel capable and to feel your own power and to feel your stature here. You've earned this, okay? And you have the check and balance of the water energy here with the Knight of Cups in order to sort of keep that from running away with you, right? To keep this from becoming arrogant, from becoming arrogance or an overweening pride or a cockiness or this feeling of invincibility or that, that sort of thing. You've got the balance of humbleness, humility, gratitude, love, compassion, being of service. So you've got the right stuff, in other words, okay? Really, really good. I'm so impressed right now. Someone in your life drives a really big truck. Who's the one with the driving the big truck? Yeah. And Spirit's asking where your umbrella is. I don't know why. Where's your umbrella? You left it somewhere. You forgot it at the store or something like that, right? You left it in one of those little buckets. Anyway, Path of the Serpent, the Seven of Cups. We talked about this. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are free. They don't cost anything. That Seven of Cups, you know, it is that sometimes this despair, or sometimes this indulging in this feeling of, like, you know, kind of, it's almost like we're sublimating this energy. Because this is that rotten feeling that, like, God, I suck. I'm terrible at this. I don't like, I can't do it. There's something wrong with me. And sometimes we can use that kind of negative energy as fuel, right? It's kind of like the Mr. Fusion in the Back to the Future on the DeLorean. You know, you can put any old kind of garbage in there and it'll run. God, wouldn't that be nice, right? Anyway, we can sublimate some of these negative emotions and turn it into motivation, turn it into fuel for that engine, right? And again, whatever we got to do to get the win, to succeed, and that's going to help to reinforce our capabilities until we really we don't need these tools anymore, and we believe in ourselves, and we can stand upright and tall and with our shoulders back, knowing that we're capable of this because we've done it, we've been through the fire, we've been through the failures. You know, we've earned the right to be proud of ourselves, you know. So again, pride is not coming before the fall, but it comes after the fall and after getting up again. That's what's going to that's what's going to bring the pride, right? Because you've earned that. And that gives you an edge over somebody that hasn't earned it. Somebody that's never experienced a Seven of Pentacles is not as skilled as someone who has been through a whole stack of them. Okay, so this gives you an edge on, you know, whoever else is in this realm with you. I don't know exactly what you're doing. I don't know if this is a sport of some kind. Maybe it is a martial art. Maybe it's some kind of a business thing that you're doing, something entrepreneurial, or whatever it might be. The Magician card in the environment, I feel like now we're recognizing that this is us. Okay, that the only person we need to compare ourselves to is the idealized version of ourselves. At first it was like, well, if somebody else can do it, then I can do it too. And so we set that up as our goal, as our motivation, as our aspiration. Eventually realize that now I see myself as that master magician, and I'm working closer and harder, and I'm motivated to arrive at that person. This is kind of like the image of our perfected self. Yeah. Our perfected self, and it's the only thing that we need to compare ourselves to. The only person I'm in competition with is me. Yeah. The enemy is the inner me, right? And so it's I'm working to transcend my own limitations and become closer and closer to this perfect master magician. And the magician is the one that can get things done. The magician is the one that can manifest the change according to will. That I set my intention, I speak something into existence, and I do it. I follow through with it, and, you know, as often as possible, it works. It succeeds. It manifests. The perfect magician is one that can take the fire and it goes directly to earth. Fire to earth, right? Someone that can have an intention and immediately the thing appears in their hand. A rabbit out of a hat, right? I have the thought, I have the will, and out comes the rabbit. Like that, instant creation. Well, that's the ideal, right? That's like the perfect kind of, you know, abstract theory of it. But in practice, that fire has to go through the human apparatus, our heart, our mind, our body, in order to manifest. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen, you know, at the snap of a finger. Creation is not instantaneous. It has to go through the right channels, the right mediums to get to the materials that it needs to act upon with the proper amount of force and the proper direction at the proper time, and then things can slowly start to grow. You know, you got to plant the seed in the right kind of soil at the right time of year. You got to water it with just the right amount of water and the right amount of sunlight. And you got to wait a certain amount of time for it to grow. You got to have patience, and it doesn't happen overnight. But we're realizing that we have the magical power. We have the power to have an intention and make it a reality. We have the power to create. We are creators, all of us. And you're getting closer and closer to acknowledging that in yourself and becoming very, very good at doing it. We all want to become the perfect magician. I think that's what we aspire to, but we get pretty darn close. And I think that you're realizing that this is like that creative force inside of you. And it manifests as pride sometimes, but it is a capability. It is realizing that you can pull down from the universe whatever it is that you need. And you're kind of pulling a rabbit out of a hat with this. This is your magical power. This is your ability to use that magical power to reach your goals. The Two of Swords is the difficult position. It is, it's our decision about what we're going to believe about ourselves. We all have a choice about who we're going to interpret ourselves to be. How am I going to talk to myself? What am I going to say to myself? What kind of words am I going to use? Am I going to uplift myself, or am I going to diminish myself? Am I going to empower myself, or am I going to weaken myself? And we have to decide that at every minute. And every moment becomes a choice about who we are and why we're here and what we're made of and what we're supposed to do. The secret of this card, though, is following the intuition. There's a little crescent moon at the top of that card. It's a reference to the High Priestess. Because the High Priestess is this glowing, growing, widening psychic aperture of realization about who we really are and why we're really here. So it becomes not even so much of a choice, it becomes a calling. It's kind of like Spirit is removing the choice from it. This is just what you do. You know, the painter doesn't choose to paint. The painter must paint. The writer must write. The black belt must do jujitsu or whatever it is. And this isn't to suggest that we are just one thing or that we are only what we do. But it is to suggest that there is a current of spiritual force flowing through you that bypasses your conscious choices. I don't decide to be who I am. I'm just who I am. But at first, maybe we do have to decide to do it. Again, until we develop enough of that, confidence, that magical power, this ability and capability to where we can dispense with the tools. And then pretty soon something is just flowing through you, as it kind of does with the magician, right? Taking the fire, it flows through us to earth. We are just the transmitters. We are just the clear channel, the pure conduit of that spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Okay. So over time, we may feel that there isn't much of an internal discussion going on. There is no real debate inside of us. It's just, this is who I am. This is what I do. In all sorts of different areas of life, not just with playing darts, right, or jujitsu, or business, or writing the book. It's just in everything you do. It's like, this is just flowing through me. So it gives us a peace of mind. It takes some of the stress away from life because something's just flowing through us. We don't feel the friction inside like we used to, And anyway, the devil energy, the engine kind of driving up the mountain, right? Getting to the top, I think that this is your momentum. It's your endurance. It's your perseverance that you are creating. Okay, this is that creative power. This is the idealized version of ourself that can utilize this creative power. This is the creative power being used. This is you doing the deed, right? And getting yourself further and further up the ladder, up the mountain, whatever it is, business, family, if it's, a physical goal, if it's financial, if it's a skill or a sport, something you're trying to learn, it's just anything. Literally anything. This energy is applying across the board for you. So whatever your mountain is, it's not going to be the last one you climb. Maybe you're climbing a few different mountains at once, right? Some of us can do that. Me, I kind of stick with one or two, but everybody's different, you know. But this is now the will that is working through you. This is the will in action. We're doing the thing that we're meant to do in life. And we're succeeding at it. Something has clicked. And there's something that's sort of pushing you further and further up the mountain. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. I think maybe it should be some more water energy or some more swords, either a 6 of swords or a 6 of cups. Maybe it'll be a 3 of cups, though. Actually, really, maybe a 3 of anything. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look. Yeah, 3 of wands. This is your recognition of your will. This is your virtue. This is kind of saying, like, I'm doing it because I am compelled by my own nature to do it. This is the painter that's painting, the writer that writes. This is our virtue. It's what is in our essence. And so there is no choice of right or wrong. It's just I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, there's no debate, there's no discussion, there's no choice even in it. At first there's a choice whether or not to let this will flow through us or not. Once we make the choice to do it, then it's sort of like mind, hands off. Let that energy flow. Okay? And so it's really, it's kind of wu wei in a little bit. You know, it's kind of doing the not doing, the spontaneous action, effortless action, the non-coercive flow state of things. And I feel like that's the virtue. You know, the virtuous person doesn't need to sit there and have a moral debate with themselves about, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Should I turn the wallet in or should I take the money? It's sort of obvious, you know, it comes natural because you know who you are and you know what you're all about. You know what you're made of. And in any situation, I feel like you have the confidence to know what to do. Even if you end up falling down again, even if you end up making mistakes, which are going to happen again. It's not the last time you're going to see a 7 of Pentacles. But we know how to deal with that. And we know that they're useful because I'm always refining myself. I'm always refining my will. If I let it flow through me and I end up with a 7 of Pentacles again, it's a learning experience. It's given me the opportunity. I'm grateful for it because it allows me to then fine-tune myself a little bit more so that I can be even better at letting this will flow through me. So this is a card of identity, really. Yeah. I feel like your whole life is flipping with whatever this big win is, whatever this jackpot is that's coming. This is a victory. Okay. I like it. We're going to do an extended reading if you want to stick around. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.